You're nothing but a gold-digging opportunist. Alexander Harrington's voice slices through the tense air of the Manhattan penthouse, his eyes blazing with contempt as he jabs a finger at Eleanor Hayes. The room, packed with the elite of New York's high society, freezes. Eleanor, a 55-year-old black maid, stands rigid, her hands clasped tightly around a worn handkerchief, her jaw clenched so hard it aches. The lawyer, mid-sentence, halts, clutching Edward Harrington's will as Alexander storms forward, his polished shoes slamming against the oak floor. You think you can steal my father's fortune? You, a nobody, a servant? His words drip venom, each syllable a calculated stab, laced with racial and class disdain. Eleanor's chest tightens, but her eyes don't waver, locked on Alexander's, refusing to crumble under the weight of his accusation. The will's words still echo. Edward, the billionaire patriarch, left everything, his company, penthouse, trust fund, to Eleanor, bypassing his children. Gasps ripple through the room. Alexander's sister, Margaret, her lips pursed into a thin line, mutters, "This is absurd." Her husband, Charles, scribbles furiously in a notebook, calculating losses. Alexander cuts off the lawyer's attempt to continue. "Read it again. There's a mistake." The lawyer, unfazed, repeats, "To Eleanor Hayes, my caretaker, I bequeath my entire estate." Alexander slams his fist on the table, the crystal glass wobbling. "She manipulated him, drugged him maybe. A black maid doesn't just inherit billions." The accusation lands like a grenade, and whispers erupt among the guests. Old money, new money, all united in shock. Eleanor's fingers dig into the handkerchief, a gift from Edward during a hospital stay. She wants to scream, to tell them about the nights she read to him, the chess games she played to ease his pain, the Christmases she spent by his side when his children were on yachts or in Aspen. But Alexander doesn't let her speak. "Don't you dare play innocent," he snaps, stepping closer, his cologne sharp and invasive. "You saw a dying man and saw dollar signs." Eleanor's breath catches, her heart pounding like a war drum, but she holds her ground, her silence a shield. The lawyer tries to intervene. "Mr. Harrington, please." But Alexander cuts him off again. "File the lawsuit now. She's a fraud." The room buzzes with murmurs of agreement, the crowd's judgment a suffocating weight on Eleanor's shoulders. Her knees tremble, but she forces them steady. She knows the truth, Edward's gratitude for her loyalty, her care. But Alexander's words burn, each one a reminder of the world's quickness to dismiss her. She feels the eyes of the guests, their stares stripping her down to nothing more than her race, her job. Yet something in her refuses to break. Her teeth grind together, holding back a flood of words she knows they won't hear. Alexander turns to the lawyer, his voice low but lethal. "This isn't over. We'll bury her in court." As he strides out, the crowd parts like the Red Sea, leaving Eleanor alone in the center of the storm. Her fingers loosen on the handkerchief, and she tucks it into her pocket, a quiet promise to herself. The lawyer's voice breaks the silence, announcing a private recording Edward left for Eleanor. Her heart skips. What did he want her to hear? Eleanor Hayes stands alone in the penthouse's suffocating silence, the echo of Alexander's accusations still ringing in her ears. Her jaws locked tight, teeth grinding as she fights the urge to lash out. The crowd's murmurs slice into her, their eyes pinning her like a specimen under glass. "I'm not what you think," she says, her voice low but steady, cutting through the haze of disdain. The words carry a weight that makes even Margaret pause, her manicured nails hovering over her phone. Eleanor's gaze sweeps the room unflinching, as if daring anyone to challenge her truth. Edward knew who stood by him. The statement lands like a stone in still water, ripples of unease spreading through the guests. Alexander, already halfway to the door, spins back, his face a mask of fury. "Don't you dare speak his name," he snarls, but Eleanor doesn't flinch. Her hands, rough from years of scrubbing floors, clutch the handkerchief in her pocket, its frayed edges grounding her. She takes a step toward the exit, her movements deliberate, each footfall a quiet rebellion against the room's judgment. The lawyer, clutching the will, tries to speak. "Mrs. Hayes, the recording—" But Alexander cuts him off with a sharp wave. She doesn't get to play victim here. Eleanor's lips press into a thin line, her eyes burning with unspoken truths. She could tell them about the nights she stayed late, reading Hemingway to Edward as his hands trembled, or the chess moves she memorized to keep his mind sharp. But words won't pierce their prejudice. Instead, her silence speaks louder, a heavy, prophetic stillness that makes Charles shift uncomfortably in his seat. The crowd parts as she moves, their whispers trailing her like shadows. Who does she think she is? This is a disgrace. Eleanor's heart hammers, but her face betrays nothing. Her fingers tighten around the handkerchief, a relic of Edward's kindness, given to her on a Christmas Eve when his children were skiing in Vale. She remembers his frail voice then, thanking her for staying. That memory steals her now. She pauses at the door, turning back one last time. Her eyes lock on Alexander, who's barking orders to his lawyer. "You'll see who he really trusted," she says, her voice soft but razor sharp, a promise etched in steel. The room falls silent, the weight of her words hanging like a guillotine. Alexander's face twitches, but he turns away, dismissing her with a scoff. As Eleanor steps into the hallway, the heavy oak door clicks shut behind her, muffling the chaos. Her shoulders sag, but only for a moment. She straightens, her breath steadying as she walks toward the elevator, the handkerchief still in her grip. The world outside waits, cold and unforgiving, but she's faced worse. Her silence wasn't surrender. It was a vow. She'll fight, not for the money, but for Edward's truth. In her pocket, the handkerchief feels heavier, as if carrying his voice. Downstairs, the city's pulse hums, and she steps into it, a lone figure against the Manhattan skyline. Somewhere in that penthouse, a recording waits to speak, and she knows it holds the key to everything. "Seal that will and bury it in litigation." Alexander Harrington barks at his lawyer, his fist slamming the desk in the penthouse study, the impact rattling the antique globe beside him. The room empties fast, guests fleeing like rats from a sinking ship, their whispers fading into the hallway. Alexander's chest heaves, fury boiling in his veins as he paces, his tie yanked loose like a noose he can't stand. Margaret grabs his arm, her grip iron. "We'll crush her. She's got no proof." But Alexander shrugs her off, his mind replaying Eleanor's parting words. "You'll see who he really trusted." They sting like acid, gnawing at the edges of his rage. He storms to the safe, hidden behind a portrait of Edward, the old man's stern eyes staring down. Fingers flying, he punches the code, the door clicking open with a mechanical hiss. Inside, stacks of documents glare back, contracts, deeds, a lifetime of empire building. Alexander rifles through them, his breath short and sharp, searching for ammunition against Eleanor. "There has to be something," he mutters, papers scattering like confetti. His hand brushes a small envelope, yellowed with age, tucked in the back. He rips it open and a photo tumbles out. Edward in a hospital bed, frail but smiling, Eleanor beside him, her hand steadying his. On the back, Edward's scrawl, "Eleanor, my rock in the storm. Thank you for the nights no one else came." Alexander's stomach twists, a punch to the gut. His fingers tremble, gripping the photo as memories flood in. Calls he ignored, visits he skipped, holidays he traded for boardrooms. "Damn it," he growls, but the word cracks, his throat tight. Margaret bursts in, her heels clicking like gunfire. "What's that?" She snatches the photo, her eyes narrowing. "Sentimental garbage. Burn it." Alexander yanks it back, his voice low and lethal. "No, this means something." But she cuts him off, her laugh sharp. "Means she played him like a fiddle. We sue for undue influence." Alexander's jaw clenches, teeth grinding as doubt creeps in, a slow poison. He stuffs the photo into his pocket, his heart pounding like a trapped animal. The safe yields more. A stack of letters from Eleanor. Simple notes. Tea at 4, as always. Chess tonight. Each one a dagger, twisting the knife of his absence. He remembers Edward's last call, voice weak. "Come see me, son." He'd hung up for a meeting. Deeper in the safe, an unlabeled USB catches his eye. Matte black and unassuming. Alexander palms it, turning it over, but dismisses it. Probably old files. He slams the safe shut, the bang echoing his turmoil. Call the press, he orders Margaret, his voice stealing. Leak that she's a manipulator. But as she dials, his hand slips into his pocket, fingers tracing the photo's edge. Regret surges, hot and unbidden, his chest constricting like a vice. He sees Eleanor's face again, her silence not weak but loaded, a prophecy unfolding. What if we're wrong? He whispers, but Margaret's already talking, her words a barrage. Exclusive. Maid steals billionaire's fortune. Alexander's fistball, nails digging into palms, drawing blood. The room spins, his empire feeling hollow. He collapses into Edward's chair, the leather creaking under him. The photo stares up, Edward's eyes accusing. Alexander's breath hitches, a rare crack in his armor. He'd built walls of wealth, but here, in this moment, they crumble. Margaret hangs up, smirking. It's done. She's finished. But Alexander doesn't respond, his mind racing. That USB, why hide it? He pockets it too, a seed of mystery planted deep. The city lights flicker outside, indifferent to his storm. Regret claws harder now, a beast awakening. He stands, resolve hardening, but tainted. Find her, he snaps at his assistant over the phone. I need answers. The line clicks, and he's left alone, the photo burning in his hand like evidence he can't ignore. Somewhere below, Eleanor walks the streets, her silence echoing louder than his shouts. The hunt begins. Admit it, you abandoned him, just like the rest of us. Alexander Harrington's voice cracks like a whip in his own mirror reflection, his fist pounding the bathroom sink in the penthouse, veins bulging on his neck. Water drips from his face, cold and unforgiving, as he stares down the man he's become. CEO, heir, monster. The photo from the safe burns in his pocket, Edward's smile a silent accusation that twists his gut tighter than any boardroom betrayal. He splashes more water, but it doesn't wash away the regret clawing up his throat. His fingers grip the marble edge, knuckles white as flashes hit. Edward's calls unanswered. Hospital visits skip for mergers. Damn you, Eleanor, he growls, but the words taste like lies. He knows it's not her, it's him, the son who chose power over presence. He bursts out, suit rumpled, grabbing his coat and keys. Margaret blocks the door, her arms crossed, eyes like daggers. Where the hell are you going? Out, he snaps, shoving past her. She grabs his sleeve. To her, you're weak. He yanks free, his breath hot. Weak is letting this rot inside. The elevator doors slam shut on her curses, descending like his resolve cracking. In the lobby, doormen avert their eyes as he storms into the Manhattan night, hailing a cab with a sharp whistle. Brooklyn, fast. The driver nods, accelerator flooring as Alexander slumps in the back, mind racing. The USB weighs heavily in his pocket, a mystery he can't shake. What secrets did Edward bury? His phone buzzes. Margaret's text. Don't ruin us. He deletes it, jaw set, teeth grinding as the city blurs past. The cab screeches to a halt in Brooklyn's shadowed streets, where graffiti tags walls and streetlights flicker like dying hopes. Alexander pays, stepping out, his loafers crunching gravel. He pulls up Eleanor's address from a quick search on his phone, heart pounding like a drum in his chest. The building looms, cracked facade and buzzing intercom. He presses the button hard, finger jabbing. No answer. Again. Eleanor, open up! His shout echoes, drawing stares from passers-by. A neighbor cracks a window. She ain't here, suit. Try the community center. Alexander's fists ball, frustration surging, but he nods curtly, striding off. His breath comes in short bursts, regret fueling each step like fire in his veins. At the center, lights glow through grimy windows, voices murmuring inside. He pushes the door open, the hinge creaking like a warning. Inside, Eleanor sits at a table, surrounded by kids, her voice steady as she reads from a worn book. And the old man fought the sea. Heads turn, eyes widening at the intruder in the Armani suit. Eleanor looks up, her gaze locking on his, spine straightening like steel. What do you want? She demands, voice low but cutting. Alexander steps forward, hands raised. To talk, alone. The kids scatter at her nod, chairs scraping. She stands, arms crossed, chin lifted. You accused me. Now you chase me. He cuts her off, voice urgent. That photo in the safe. Dad is with you. What does it mean? Her lips press thin, eyes flashing. Means he had someone when you didn't show. The words hit like a slap, his chest tightening. He paces the room, fingers raking through hair. I ignored him. Chose work. But you were there. Eleanor's jaw clenches, her hands fisting at her sides. Every fever, every night he couldn't sleep. Alexander stops facing her, regret raw in his eyes. I'm sorry. For the accusations, for everything. But she shakes her head, voice sharp. Sorry doesn't erase the lawsuit. He pulls out the photo, thrusting it at her. This does. Explain it. She takes it, fingers trembling slightly, her breath catching. Memories flood her, Edward's weak grip on her hand, his whispers of gratitude. He trusted me, she says, voice steady. Alexander leans in. There's more. A USB, hidden. Her eyes widen, a spark of curiosity igniting, but she hands the photo back. Not here, not now. He follows her out, the night air biting as they walk. Where then? My place, she relents, steps quickly. In her cramped apartment, she brews tea, hands steady despite the storm inside. Alexander sits awkwardly, the USB on the table between them like a bomb. Play it, she says. He plugs it into her old laptop, screen flickering to life. Edward's voice fills the room, frail but firm. Alexander, if you're listening, know this. I failed you too. Alexander's breath hitches, fists clenching as revelations pour out. Missed birthdays, cold dinners. He blamed himself? Alexander whispers, voice breaking. Eleanor nods, her own regrets surfacing. Years of loyalty, unseen by the world. The recording ends. Silence heavy. Alexander stands, resolve hardening. I'll drop the suit, but help me understand him. She meets his gaze, a fragile alliance forming. Only if you face the truth. The search doesn't end there. Days blur as Alexander digs deeper, visiting Edward's old haunts. The hospital where Eleanor worked shifts, the park bench where he sat alone. Each stop peels layers from armor, regret sharpening into purpose. He confronts old colleagues, their stories confirming Eleanor's role, the quiet guardian. One nurse snaps at him. She held his hand when you wouldn't. The blow lands, his gut twisting. Back in Brooklyn, he shadows Eleanor at the center, watching her teach chess to kids, her patience a mirror to what she gave Edward. You're good at this, he admits one evening, voice gruff. She shrugs, but her eyes soften. Learned from him. The bond builds brick by brick as Alexander unravels his own failures. The USB's deeper files reveal emails. Edward's pleas for visits, ignored. Alexander's fists slam the table. I was blind. Eleanor places a hand on his shoulder, brief but firm. Now see. Nights stretch as he pores over documents. Eleanor by his side, their conversations cutting deep. Why me? She asks once, voice raw. Because you stayed, he replies, the truth a knife. Regret evolves into action. He cancels meetings, donates anonymously to the center. Margaret calls relentlessly. Come back. He hangs up, focus laser sharp. The journey twists him, forging something new from the ashes of neglect. One dawn, as he leaves her apartment, a letter slips from his pocket, another clue from the safe. Eleanor picks it up, eyes narrowing. This changes everything. The words hang, pulling him deeper into the unknown. You stole his mind, didn't you? Twisted it with your tricks. Alexander's accusation explodes in Eleanor's cramped Brooklyn apartment, his finger jabbing the air inches from her face, veins throbbing in his neck. She doesn't budge, her spine ramrod straight, hands planted on the kitchen table like anchors. The tea steams between them, ignored, as her eyes bore into his, unflinching. Get out, she snaps, voice ablade, but he doesn't move. Her jaw locks, teeth grinding as memories surge. Edward's frail form in the hospital, her wiping his brow while his children chase deals. Alexander leans in, breath hot. Admit it! She shoves the chair back, scraping wood, standing tall. Admit what? That I cared when you vanished? The words slice, his face twitching, but she turns away, grabbing a coat. I've got work. He blocks the door. Not until you explain. She shoulders past, her stride fierce, leaving him in the dust. Outside, the Brooklyn streets pulse with life, but Eleanor cuts through like a force, her steps pounding pavement. She heads to the community center, her sanctuary, where kids wait for her daily class. Her chest tightens, not from fear, but from the fire Alexander ignited. She won't break, not for him, not for anyone. Pushing open the door, shouts greet her. Miss Eleanor! A dozen kids swarm, their energy a balm. She forces a smile, lips curving despite the storm inside. All right, settle down. They grab seats, eyes eager. She pulls out the chessboard, pieces clacking as she sets them up. Today we attack like knights, quiet but deadly. A boy, Jamal, grins. Like you taught last week? She nods, her fingers swift, demonstrating moves. Knight to F3, strike without noise. The kids mimic, boards clattering, her voice steady, guiding each one. Her world unfolds here, away from penthouses and accusations. She circles the tables, correcting grips, praising wins. Good, Maria. Queen takes pawn. Maria beams, fist pumping. Eleanor's heart swells, a quiet victory amid chaos. This is her strength, building futures from scraps, just as she did for Edward. She remembers teaching him chess in his final months, his hands shaking but eyes alive. You're my knight, he'd whispered once. Now she passes it on. A girl, Lena, struggles, brow furrowed. Eleanor kneels, hand on shoulder. Don't rush. Plan the endgame. Lena nods, piece sliding forward. Eleanor's fingers linger, warmth spreading. This is her armor, forged from years of overlooked labor. Alexander trails her, unseen at first, lurking in the doorway shadows. He watches, fists unclenching, as she laughs with the kids, her patience endless. Checkmate, Jamal yells, high-fiving her. She ruffles his hair, voice warm. Next time, defend better. The session ends, kids packing up, chattering. Eleanor stacks boards, her movements efficient, back straight. A volunteer approaches. You okay? Look tense. She shrugs, lips tight. Family drama. The volunteer snorts. Yours or someone else's? Eleanor's eyes flash. Doesn't matter, I handle it. She grabs a book stack, heading to the reading nook. Kids trailing for story time. Old man in the sea today, she announces, voice resonant. Pages flip, her tone drawing them in. He was an old man who fished alone. Kids lean forward, spellbound, her words painting battles against waves. This is her domain. No silver spoons, just grit. She pauses mid-sentence, sensing Alexander's presence. He steps in, hesitant, but she doesn't stop, voice unwavering. And he fought, never giving up. The story ends, applause erupting. Kids disperse, leaving her to tidy. Alexander approaches, voice low. You're good here. She stacks books harder, thuds echoing. It's not for show. He watches her hands calloused and sure. Dad would have liked this. She spins, eyes piercing. He did. Joined once. Played chess with them. Alexander's breath catches, regret flashing. She softens a fraction. Sit. He does, awkward on the tiny chair. She pushes a board toward him. Your move. He hesitates, piece hovering. I don't know. Learn, she cuts in, guiding his hand. The game begins, pieces clicking, her strategy sharp. Pawn to E4. He mirrors clumsily, but her patience holds, a bridge forming. As pieces fall, truths emerge. I stayed with him because no one else did, she says, knight capturing. Alexander's queen wobbles. I should have. Check. Her eyes meet his. Should have doesn't win games. Mate. He stares at the board, defeated but awakened. She stands, gathering pieces. Go home. Think. But he doesn't leave, following as she locks up. Show me more. She pauses, key turning with a click. Why? To understand. Her sigh is heavy, but she nods. They walk to her next stop, a soup kitchen down the block. Volunteers nod as she dives in, ladling stew, her movements fluid. Extra for you, Mr. Jones. The old man grins, toothless. Bless you, Eleanor. Alexander watches, rolling up sleeves, joining awkwardly. Pass the bread. She hands it over, their fingers brushing, a spark of alliance. Hours pass, her world enveloping him, serving lines, wiping counters, listening to stories of hardship. A woman hugs her. You saved my boy last winter. Eleanor's eyes glisten, but she blinks them away, jaw set. Just did what's right. Alexander's hands blister from work, but he presses on, her strength infectious. As night falls, they sit on a bench outside, exhausted. This is me, she says, voice firm. Not your thief. He nods, regret deepening. I see that now. She pulls out the letter from earlier, fingers tracing words. But there's more to uncover. The paper crinkles, hinting at secrets buried deeper, pulling them toward the unknown. You're invading my life now. Think that buys forgiveness? Eleanor Hayes's voice lashes out in the soup kitchen's dim back room, her ladle slamming down on the counter, splattering stew as she whirls on Alexander Harrington. He freezes mid-step, breadbasket in hand, his face hardening like granite. Her eyes blaze, fists clenched at her sides, nails digging into palms. Get out before I call security. Alexander sets the basket down hard, the thud echoing. Not until we talk. Really talk. She advances, finger jabbing his chest. Talk. You sued me. Called me a thief. He grabs her wrist gently, but she yanks free, breath hot. I was wrong. Drop the suit now. Her laugh cuts sharply, bitterly. Too late. Damage done. He steps closer, voice dropping. Let me fix it. She shoves him back, chest heaving. Fix? With what? Your billions? Volunteers peek in, but Eleanor waves them off, the door slamming shut behind. Alone, tension crackles like a live wire. She paces, arms crossed, tight, jaw locked. Alexander watches, regret twisting his features, but resolve steals him. That letter, from Dad's safe, it mentions you. My light. Eleanor stops dead, breath catching, fingers trembling as she snatches the paper from his outstretched hand. Her eyes scan Edward's scrawl. Eleanor, forgive the secrets. You deserved more. Tears sting, but she blinks them away, crumpling the page. This? A crumb. Alexander cuts in. It's proof. He trusted you over us. She spins, voice venomous. Trusted? He hid me. Like shame. Alexander's fistball. I'm here to apologize for the accusations, for abandoning him. She halts, eyes narrowing. Prove it. He exhales sharply, pulling out his phone, dialing fast. Lawyer, withdraw the suit. Now. Speaker on, the voice confirms. Done, sir. Eleanor's shoulders ease a fraction, but suspicion lingers, her stance rigid. That's one. What else? Alexander pockets the phone, leaning against the counter. Help me understand him. The USB, more files, letters to you. She grabs a cloth, wiping her hands furiously. Why me? He meets her gaze. Because you knew him, the real him. Silence stretches, her cloth twisting in her grip. Finally, she nods curtly. Fine, but conditions. He straightens. Name them. Public apology, in the papers. His jaw clenches, teeth grinding. Done. And support the center. Funded. He nods without hesitation. Whatever it takes. She turns away, stacking bowls with clangs, each one a punctuation to her demands. Alexander watches, the weight of his errors pressing down. There's more in that letter, he presses. She freezes, then pulls it smooth, reading deeper. Edward's words leap. The truth about her mother, hidden for too long. Her breath hitches, fingers tracing ink. What truth? Alexander leans in. We find out together. She folds it carefully, tucking it away, her resolve cracking into curiosity. Not here. My apartment, tomorrow. He agrees, but she cuts him off. And no games, or I walk. He raises his hands in surrender. No games. The next day in her living room, sunlight slants through thin curtains as they sit across a scarred table. Eleanor brews coffee, mugs thudding down. Start talking. Alexander pulls files from his bag, spreading them. Dad's journals. Mentions your mother, a nurse in the 60s. She sips, scalding liquid burning her tongue, mirroring the fire inside. She worked for him? He nods, flipping pages. More. They connected. Eleanor's mug slams down. Connected. Say it. An affair. The word hangs, her face paling, but eyes sharpening. And me? Alexander hesitates. Possibly. His. She stands abruptly, chair scraping. Lies. He grabs her arm. Test it. ADN. She yanks free, pacing. Why hide? Times were different. Prejudice. Her fists pound the wall. And you? Would you hide a child? He stands. No. That's why I'm here. Tears threaten, but she swallows them, turning back. If true, what then? Alexander's voice softens. You get everything, and I make amends. She sinks into the chair, exhaustion etching lines. Amends how? Join me, uncover it all. She eyes him warily. Condition, no control. We share leads. He agrees. As they pore over documents, a hidden envelope slips out, Edward's seal unbroken. Eleanor breaks it, reading aloud. To my daughter if fate reveals. Her voice breaks, hands shaking. Alexander's eyes widen. Daughter? She nods, the word a thunderclap. We need proof. He stands. Hospital records, now. She grabs her coat. Together. Hours later at an old records office, dust chokes the air as they dig through boxes. Eleanor's fingers fly, pulling files. Here, your mother's name. Alexander scans. Matches. A clerk interrupts. Closing time. They snatch copies, rushing out. In the cab, Eleanor clutches papers. This changes us. Alexander nods. Family? She scoffs. Earn it. Back at her place, they spread the finds. A photo tumbles. Young Edward with a black woman, smiling. Eleanor's breath catches. Mom. Alexander traces it. Proof. But she spots a note. Beware Margaret. She knows. Her eyes flash. Your sister? He curses. She hid this? Eleanor stands. Confront her. He dials, voice steel. Margaret, meet now. The line crackles with her denial. Nothing to say. Hang up. Eleanor's fists clench. She's involved. The alliance solidifies, conditions binding them like chains. Alexander funds the center that night, a transfer confirming. Eleanor watches the email, nodding in approval. First step. He leaves but pauses at the door. Tomorrow, we dig deeper. She locks it behind him, the envelope in hand, secrets whispering. Alone, she traces the photo, heart pounding. The truth beckons, dark and vast, pulling her into shadows yet unseen. You're a disgrace to his blood, mixing with that maid like she's family. Margaret Harrington's voice erupts over the phone, her words a venomous slash as Alexander clutches the receiver in Eleanor's apartment, his knuckles whitening. Eleanor freezes mid-sip of coffee, mug slamming down, hot liquid splashing her hand. But she ignores the burn, her jaw locking tight. Alexander's face darkens, veins pulsing in his temple. Shut up, Margaret, he barks, but she cuts him off, laughing sharply as a knife. You're weak, dropping the suit. For her. Eleanor lunges forward, grabbing the phone. Who's this? Margaret's retort flies. The real heir. You're nothing, a servant stealing what's mine. Eleanor's fists clench, nails biting skin, her breath short and furious. Stealing? I earned it, Margaret snarls. Earned? By what tricks in the dark? Alexander yanks the phone back, speaker off, his free hand slamming the table. Enough! But Margaret's voice leaks through, tinny and lethal. I've got proof. She manipulated him. Drugs, whispers. I'll bury you both. Eleanor's eyes blaze, stepping closer. Proof? Lies. Alexander hangs up, the phone cracking against wood. She's bluffing. But Eleanor shakes her head, chest heaving. No, she knows something. Margaret's call ends, but her threat lingers, a poison seeping in. Alexander paces, fingers raking hair. She's in Chicago, flying in tomorrow. Eleanor's lips press thin. Let her come, face me. He stops, eyes meeting hers. She's ruthless. Hired investigators already. Eleanor's spine straightens, fire igniting. So am I. Hours later, Margaret storms into the penthouse, heels stabbing marble, her designer bag thudding down like a gavel. Alexander waits, arms crossed, Eleanor beside him, stance defiant. Margaret's eyes rake over Eleanor, disdain curling her lips. You let this outsider in? Eleanor advances. Outsider? I was there when you weren't. Margaret cuts her off, finger jabbing. They're spying, scheming. Alexander intervenes. Stop! But Margaret shoves past, pulling files from her bag, papers slapping the table. Hospital logs, extra visits. What did you whisper? Eleanor's hands tremble, but she grabs a file, scanning. Care, not schemes. Margaret snatches it back. Lies. I'll prove it in court. Her voice drops cold. And that daughter nonsense? I'll crush it. Eleanor's breath catches, fists balling. You knew? Margaret smirks, eyes glinting. Dad confessed once, drunk. Said he hid her because, well, look at her. The racial jab lands, Eleanor's teeth grinding, pain shooting through her jaw. Say it. Margaret leans in. Unfit. For our world. Alexander explodes. Enough! He grabs Margaret's arm. Out! She yanks free, laughing. Yoko sees her? Over blood? Eleanor's voice slices. Blood? You abandoned him. Margaret's face twists, but she storms to the door. This isn't over. I control the family trust. Redirect it to my charity. Door slams, echo ringing. Alexander collapses into a chair, head in hands. She's serious. Eleanor paces, adrenaline surging. Charity? Fake? He nods. Hides assets. Tax dodge. Her eyes narrow. We expose her. He stands, resolve hardening. Start with her files. Stole a copy? Eleanor pulls a photo from her pocket, snapped quickly. Logs here. They spread them, her fingers stabbing entries. Extra meds? No. I logged care. Alexander's brow furrows. She tampered. Eleanor's heart races. To frame me. Margaret's shadow looms larger, her thujitch a web tightening. The next day Margaret calls again, voice smug. Withdraw now or I leak evidence. Eleanor grabs the phone. Leak what? Your mother's records prove motive. Click. Eleanor's knees buckle, but she catches herself, rage fueling. She's digging dirt. Alexander dials contacts. Block her. But calls fail, allies dodging. Margaret's influence spreads, whispers in high circles. The Maid's a fraud. Eleanor feels the noose, but fights back, calling James Carter. Help us. The old lawyer arrives, files in hand. Margaret's charity, shell company. Eleanor's eyes light up. Proof? He nods. Transactions. Alexander slams his fist. We hit back. As night falls, they plot, Eleanor's determination unyielding. She underestimates me. Alexander nods. Us. Margaret's emergence ramps up the stakes, her schemes a labyrinth unfolding. A knock interrupts. Delivery. Anonymous envelope. Eleanor rips it open, note inside. Watch your back, M. Her pulse thunders, but she crushes it. Game on. The envelope holds a key, perhaps to more secrets, beckoning them deeper into the fray. You're next if you dig deeper. Back off, bastard. Margaret's anonymous note crumples in Alexander Harrington's fist, his knuckles cracking as he hurls it across the penthouse table, papers scattering like shrapnel. Eleanor Hayes snatches the envelope's key, her fingers digging into metal, jaw clenched so tight her teeth ache. Threats? She's scared. Alexander spins, eyes blazing. Scared. She's hunting us. Eleanor thrusts the key forward. Then we hunt back. Unlock whatever this hides. He grabs it, twisting it in his palm. A safe deposit box. Bank code here. She nods sharply, coat whipping as she heads for the door. Now, no waiting. Alexander blocks her. Dangerous. She shoves past, breath hot. So am I. They burst into the bank lobby, Eleanor's steps pounding tile, Alexander trailing, phone pressed to his ear. James, meet us. Keys from Margaret's envelope. The lawyer's voice crackles. On my way. Teller eyes them warily as Alexander flashes ID, vault doors swinging open with a heavy clang. Eleanor's heart slams, fingers trembling on the box number. Open it! The key clicks, lid lifting. Inside, files, photos, a ledger thick with entries. Alexander rifles through, pages flipping fast. Dad's old affairs. Your mother's name everywhere. Eleanor grabs a photo. Young Edward with her mom, arms linked, smiles genuine smile. They loved? He nods, voice low. Hidden, scandal. She slams the box. Margaret knew, buried it. James arrives, briefcase thudding down. Let's scan. They spread contents on a private table. Eleanor's finger stabbing dates. 1960s, prejudice peak. Alexander curses. Dad paid her off? Hush money? Eleanor's fists ball, nails biting. Not payoff. Support! James pulls records. Monthly transfers to your mom. Stopped when she died. Eleanor's breath catches, eyes scanning ledgers. To me? Scholarships? Alexander leans in. Anonymous donor, him! She stands abruptly, chair scraping. He watched over me. James nods. From shadows. Alexander's jaw tightens. Margaret intercepted? Redirected funds? Eleanor grabs a memo. Her signature, blocked payments. The trail heats. They pile into Alexander's car, engine roaring as he floors it to the old hospital. Eleanor dials contacts, voice sharp. Records from 8. Now! The receptionist hesitates. Confidential, Eleanor cuts in. Life or death? Dortwer buzzes. They storm the archives, dust choking as boxes thud open. Alexander rips tapes. Birth certificate, altered? Eleanor scans. My name, changed at birth. James photographs pages. To hide paternity. Her hands shake, but she steadies, flipping faster. Witness, nurse. Still alive? Alexander searches the phone for address here. They dash out, car screeching turns. At the nurse's home, the door creaks open. Old woman peers. Who? Eleanor thrusts a photo. Her, my mom, with Edward. Nurse's eyes widen, hand clutching the doorframe. Come in. Inside, tea steams ignored as she speaks. He loved her, fought family. But society? Eleanor leans forward. Me? His? Nurse nods. Yes, hid to protect. Alexander interrupts. Margaret? Nurse's face hardens. She found out, threatened exposure. Eleanor's teeth grind. Blackmailed? Nurse sighs. Stole documents. They exchange glances, fire igniting. Where now? The nurse hands a locket. Her keepsake. Inside, note from him. Back in the car, Eleanor priests the ocket. Note unfolding. My daughter, forgive the distance. Tears sting, but she blinks hard, passing them. Alexander reads, voice cracking. He planned to tell. James nods. Will references this. Coded. They race to Edward's old office, the key from the envelope fitting a drawer. Files spill. Emails, Margaret demanding silence. She forged denials! Eleanor's voice rises. To claim all! Alexander slams the drawer. We have her! Clues mount. They hit a law firm next, James flashing a badge. Client files, Harrington. Clerk balks. Privilege. Alexander leans in, voice lethal. Or subpoena. Files emerge, Eleanor poring over. Trust amendments, Margaret's hand. Her finger traces. Diverted to her charity, offshore accounts. James photographs. Fraud! Alexander's fists pound the desk. She robbed him blind. Eleanor stands. And me, my inheritance. They bolt, piecing timelines. Margaret's visits coinciding with changes. Night falls and they regroup in Eleanor's apartment. Boards pinned with strings connecting dots. 1965. Affair starts. Alexander pins a photo. Birth 66, Eleanor adds to a ledger. Payments her 67 on. James circles Margaret's name. Discovers 80s, blackmails. Eleanor's eyes narrow. Recent, will fight. Alexander nods. She tampered with meds? To hasten death? Eleanor gasps, hand to mouth. Murder? James shakes his head. Suggestive, logs altered. They dig deeper, calling pharmacists. Refills extra, voice confirms. Unsigned, Margaret picked up. Eleanor's rage boils, pacing. She poisoned him. Leads cascade, they track Margaret's flights. Chicago to New York, timed with hospital stays. Alexander hacks emails lightly, passwords guessed. Look, threats to dad. Reveal her. Lose everything. Eleanor's breath shortens. She forced the will change? No, wait, he resisted. James pulls the ADN test from the files. Positive, yours. Eleanor clutches it, heart pounding. Proof. Alexander stands. Confront? No. Build case. They visit more witnesses. The old butler. Miss Margaret raged. No bastard heir. Eleanor's jaw locks. She meant me. Exhaustion hits, but they press. Coffee fueling. Eleanor finds hidden audio in a USB. Edward's voice. Margaret knows. Protect Eleanor. Tape stops. Her tears fall. Wipes them fiercely. He fought for me. Alexander's hand on her shoulder. We finish it, James adds, bank statements. Transfers, millions siphoned. Eleanor circles amounts. To her accounts. The web tightens. Every clue a noose around Margaret. As dawn breaks, a final lead. Safe house address in files. They drive, tires screeching. Door unlocked, inside, shredded papers. Eleanor kneels, piecing. Confession, Margaret's. Alexander Grabas fragment. Admits all. James pockets. Enough for arrest. Eleanor stands, eyes steel. The truth? Earth-shattering. The fragments reveal the core betrayal, a crime buried deep, urging them toward revelation. You poisoned him. Admit it, you monster. Eleanor Hayes's accusation explodes in the dim safe house, her fist slamming the shredded confession fragment onto the table. Shards of paper flying as Margaret Harrington recoils, her face twisting into a snarl. Alexander Harrington lunges forward, grabbing Margaret's arm, his grip iron, veins bulging. Talk! Margaret yanks free, nails raking his skin, drawing blood. Let go, you traitors! Eleanor circles her, eyes like daggers, breath ragged. The meds, extra doses. You hastened his death. Margaret laughs, sharp and hollow, but her hands tremble, clutching her purse. Proof? Shreds? James Carter steps in, ledger thrusting forward. Transactions, millions siphoned. Your signature. Margaret's eyes dart, sweat beading on her brow, but she straightens, voice venomous. Dad was weak, delusional. That bastard child? A stain. Eleanor's jaw locks, teeth grinding, pain shooting through. Child? Me. Margaret spits. Yes, you. Dad's mistake with that nurse. I found out. Forced him silent. Alexander's fist connects with the wall, plaster cracking. Forced? Blackmail. Margaret advances. To protect us. Her kind. Ruin the name. The racial barb strikes, Eleanor's fist bawling, nails piercing palms. Kind. Say it. Margaret leans in. Unworthy. Low. Eleanor shoves her back, chest heaving. You killed for greed. James pulls an audio device from his pocket, button clicking. Edward's voice fills the room, frail but damning. Margaret threatened exposure, stole funds, to hide Eleanor, my daughter. Margaret's face pales, knees buckling, but she catches herself. Lies! Forged! Alexander cuts her off. ADN matches, hospital logs, your pickups. Eleanor grabs the locket, snapping it open. His note, to me. Margaret snatches for it, but Eleanor dodges, voice rising. You altered the will? Tried to erase me? Margaret collapses into a chair, breath short. He resisted, changed it back, so I accelerated. The confession hangs, air thick. Alexander's rage boils. He pins her against the wall. Accelerated? Murder! Margaret's eyes were wild. Not murder. Mercy. He was dying anyway. Eleanor's hand flies, slapping Margaret's cheek, the sting echoing. Mercy? For your pockets. James dials the police. It's over. Margaret sobs but twists free. You don't understand. Family legacy. Eleanor kneels level. Legacy. Betrayal. The truth crashes. Margaret discovered the affair in the 80s, blackmailed Edward for shares, siphoned trust to offshore, tampered with meds when he rewrote the will, favoring Eleanor. To eliminate threats, Margaret whispers, defeated. Eleanor stands, heart pounding, the weight lifting yet crushing. He loved me, protected me. Alexander nods, voice raw. And you destroyed him. Police sirens wail in the distance. Margaret's head bows. Arrest me then. James pockets the evidence. We will. The revelation shatters illusions, exposing the core. A sister's greed devouring blood ties, a father's secret love buried under threats. Eleanor clutches the note, tears falling unchecked, but she wipes them fiercely. Justice now! Alexander's arm around her. Wah, brief support. For Dad. Margaret's handcuffs click later, her glare lingering. The truth, unearthed, burns bright, forging their path ahead. You're finished. Your bastard blood ends here. Margaret Harrington's scream rips through the police station holding cell, her fingers clawing the bars as Eleanor Hayes steps forward, her chin lifted, eyes locked like lasers. Alexander Harrington grabs Eleanor's arm, pulling her back, his grip bruising. Don't! But Eleanor shakes free, breath exploding out. Blood? Yours poisoned him! Margaret lunges at the bars, nails scraping metal, face contorted. He deserved it! Weak fool! Eleanor's fists slam the barrier, vibration jolting up her arms. Confess! Margaret spits, saliva flecking. Confess! You invaded our world! The guard intervenes, baton raised. Back off! But Margaret cuts him off, voice hissing. She's a liar! Framed me! Eleanor's jaw clenches, teeth grinding raw as memories flood. Edwards gasps for air, her hand on his chest, whispers of comfort while Margaret plotted. You tampered with meds, killed for cash. Margaret's laugh echoes, chilling. Cash? Legacy! Alexander explodes. Legacy! Theft! He shoves past the guard, face inches from the bars. We have tapes. Margaret's eyes widen, but she recovers, smirking. Tapes break. Witnesses vanish. Eleanor's heart hammers, but she presses. Nurse talked. Your threats. Margaret's knuckles whiten on bars. Shut up! Guard yanks Alexander back. Visit over! But Margaret whispers lethally. Watch your step. Accidents happen. They storm out, Eleanor's steps pounding the corridor, Alexander trailing. She's caged, safe. Eleanor spins. Safe? Threats. Her phone buzzes. Anonymous. Elevator, now! She shows him, pulse racing. Trap! James calls from the car. Get in! But Eleanor bolts for the elevator, doors sliding open. Wait! Alexander dives in after, doors sealing. Descent starts smoothly, then jerks. Lights flicker, cabin halting mid-floor. Eleanor's breath catches, hands pressing walls. Stuck! Alexander punches buttons, no response. Margaret's doing! Phone signal dead, her claws at the panel. Pry it! Sirens distant, but cabin sways, cables groaning. Eleanor's nails scrape metal, panic rising, but she crushed down. Climb! Alexander boosts her, hands on her waist, lifting to hatch. She pops it, darkness above. Rope! Grab! Her fingers clutch the cable, grease slick, pulling up. Alexander follows, grunting. She rigged it! Drop us! Cabin lurches, plummeting inch. Her scream cut short. Faster! They haul, muscles burning, sweat stinging eyes. Hatch slams below, floor vanishing. Eleanor's arms strain, veins bulging. Door, pry! Alexander wedges fingers into the seam, doors creaking open to the shaft wall. Jump! She leaps, landing on the ledge, knees buckling. He follows, thud heavy. Alarms blare, emergency lights flashing. Eleanor's chest heaves, but she scrambles up the ladder. Alexander close. She hired someone. Inside job! He nods, breath ragged. Escape first! They burst onto the roof, night air whipping, city lights mocking below. James waits at the street, car idling. In! They dive, tires screeching away. Eleanor's fists pound dash. She tried killing me. Alexander dials the cops. Attempted murder. Trace. James swerves through traffic. Evidence. Stronger now. Eleanor's eyes harden. End her! Back at the penthouse, the locks bolted, and they paced. Eleanor grabs files. Her contacts, hitman. Alexander scans. Numbers, burners. James hacks lightly. One link, guard's phone. Eleanor's rage surges. Bribed! Alexander slams the phone. Confront again? No, trap her. But Margaret calls, voice smug. Survived? Next time, no miss. Click. Eleanor's teeth grind. She's desperate. They plot. Eleanor's mind racing. Fake meat. Lure her. Park. Midnight. Alexander hesitates. Risky. She cuts him. Necessary. Midnight. Park's shadows swallow them. Margaret arrives, coat flapping, eyes scanning. Here, deal? Eleanor steps out. Deal? Surrender. Margaret pulls the gun, barrel glinting. Surrender. Die. Alexander tackles from the side, gun skittering. Eleanor kicks it away, foot connecting hard. Margaret scrambles, nails raking Eleanor's face, a blood warm. Bastard! Eleanor pins her knee on her back. Over! Alexander cuffs her with a belt. Cops en route! Margaret thrashes. You'll pay! Sirens wail, lights flashing. Eleanor stands, breath steadying, danger peaking, but broken. The gun's cold metal in her hand whispers finality, urging toward irrefutable proof. You think a gun scares me? Your secrets die with you. Eleanor Hayes's voice thunders in the park's midnight shadows, her boot grinding Margaret Harrington's discarded weapon into the dirt, metal crunching under heel as police lights flash closer. Margaret thrashes against Alexander Harrington's belt cuffs, her wrists raw, blood trickling. Release me! Alexander tightens the hold, knee pressing her back. Not until you spill everything. Eleanor kneels, face inches from Margaret's, breath hot. The final proof. Where? Margaret spits dirt. Go to hell! Sirens wail, cops bursting through bushes, badges gleaming. Hands up! Eleanor stands slowly, hands raised. She attacked, guns there. Cops cuff Margaret properly, hauling her up. Evidence? One asks. Alexander nods. Her confession, recorded. He pulls the phone, playback starting. Margaret's voice. I accelerated. Mercy. Station chaos erupts. Margaret in interrogation, glass wall separating. Eleanor paces outside, fists pounding her thigh. She's cracking. Need more. Alexander joins, James Carter trailing with a briefcase. Tape's good, but need ironclad. Eleanor's eyes flash. Her home? Search warrant? James dials the judge. On it. Hours drag, warrant granted. They storm Margaret's Chicago mansion, doors kicked wide. Eleanor leads, flashlight slicing dark rooms. Office! Now! Drawers yank open, papers avalanche. Alexander's rifle desk. Lock safe! Eleanor grabs a crowbar from the toolkit, the metal biting lock, sparks flying. Safe pops, contents spilling, journals, tapes, a sealed envelope. Dad's handwriting. She rips it, reading aloud. Margaret stole. Proof in vault. Her heart slams, fingers trembling, but steady. Vault? Basement stairs creak underfoot. Eleanor descending first, the air musty. Here, hidden door. Alexander shoves the shelf, the panel sliding. Inside, boxes stacked, labeled, Harrington Secrets. Eleanor tears one open, documents cascading. ADN results, mine positive, James photographs fast. And forgeries, will alterations. Alexander grabs the tape recorder, button clicking. Edward's voice. She threatened, siphoned funds. Protect Eleanor. Margaret's voice overlaps with another. Sign or I expose the bastard. Eleanor's rage surges, tape crushed in fist. Direct confession. Cops arrive, sealing the scene. This nails her. But Margaret's lawyer bursts in, suit crisp. Illegal search. James thrusts a warrant. Court approved. Lawyer snarls. Client's rights. Eleanor cuts in. Rights? She murdered. Lawyer shoves past, but Alexander blocks. Out! A scuffle erupts, the lawyer's phone flying. Eleanor snatches it, screen lighting. Text to hitman. Orders, kill me! Lawyer lunges. Give back. Cops intervene, cuffing him too. Accessory. Eleanor's breath evens, proof mounting like a tidal wave. Dawn breaks, they regroup at the station, evidence bagged. Eleanor pores over journals, finger tracing Edward's words. My daughter deserves all. Tears sting, wiped fiercely. He planned to reveal, but she stopped him. Alexander nods, hand on her shoulder. We have it. Motive, means, James adds, bank records. Transfers, traced to her. Phone rings, lab tech. Meds analyzed, overdose levels. Eleanor's fists are balled. Murder confirmed. They march to interrogation, glass thumping. Margaret glares through. What now? Eleanor holds an envelope. Your end. Prosecutor arrives, file slapping the table. Charge her, full! Margaret screams from the cell. Lies. But evidence silences, cops nodding. Eleanor stands tall, the weight lifting weights. For Edward, Alexander echoes. Justice. They exit, sun rising, but a final clue in the journal. Hidden drive, under floorboard. Back at the mansion, Eleanor pries boards, wood splintering. Drive emerges, plugged-in laptop. Files open, videos of Margaret tampering with meds, whispering threats. Undeniable, James copies. Court bomb. As they drive to court, Eleanor clutches the wheel, heart steady. This ends it. Alexander speeds. Together. The drive's data seals the fate, an irrefutable truth gleaming like a blade ready to strike. You're exposed. Your poison hands on tape. Eleanor Hayes' shout echoes in the packed courtroom, her finger jabbing the screen as the hidden drive's video plays. Edward Harrington's frail form convulsing, while Margaret slips extra pills into his IV, her whisper venomous. This ends now. Gasps rip through the gallery, jurors' faces paling, the judge's gavel slamming uselessly. Margaret leaps from the defendant's table, chains rattling, her nails clawing air toward Eleanor. Lies. Edited. Alexander Harrington stands, voice booming. Play the full, undeniable. Prosecutor nods, footage rolling. Margaret's confessions, bank transfers flashing, ADN results glaring. Margaret's lawyer lunges. Objection, judge cuts. Overruled. Continue. Eleanor's chest heaves, fists clenched on the witness stand, nails drawing blood from palms as memories assault. Edward's last breath, her hand in his, now avenged. Margaret thrashes against bailiffs, eyes wild. She framed me, that low Maid. The racial slur lands, gallery murmuring, but Eleanor rises, voice steel. Maid? Daughter! Your sister's killer! Jurors shift, eyes widening. Alexander thrusts documents forward. Journals confirm. Blackmail. Theft. Margaret spits. Blood traitor. Bailiffs yank her back, her scream piercing. Shut it down. Video switches. Margaret's emails. Erase the bastard heir. Eleanor's jaw locks, teeth grinding, pain fueling fire. Heir? Me! Gallery erupts, reporters scribbling furiously. Judge pounds gavel. Order! Prosecutor advances. Witness, testify. Eleanor steps down, but Margaret breaks free momentarily. Charging. Die! Fist swings connecting with Eleanor's cheek, blood warm. Eleanor counters, elbow jabbing ribs, crack audible. For Edward! Bailiffs tackle Margaret, pinning her. Alexander rushes to stand. Enough! Play the audio. James hits the button, Edward's voice filling. She stole my life. Protect my daughter. Margaret collapses, sobs racking, but she surges up. Mercy, he begged. Lie crumbles as tape contradicts. Her threats are clear. Jurors whisper, heads shaking. Eleanor locks eyes with Margaret. Beg? You murdered for greed. Prosecutor piles on. Ledgers, millions diverted. The screen shows offshore accounts. Margaret's signature is old. Defense stammers. Circumstantial, but the judge silences. Evidence speaks. Gallery buzzes, flashbulbs popping. Eleanor's turn. She strides to the projector, drive in hand. Final proof. Witness statements. Nurse's video plays. Margaret threatened exposure. Margaret's howl. Liar. But more role. Pharmacist. She ordered extras. Butler rages about the child. The onslaught builds, each testimony a hammer blow. Margaret's lawyer pleads. Mistrial. Denied. Eleanor faces the jury. She erased me, killed him. Justice now. Tears glint, but she blinks fiercely, standing tall. Climax peaks. Margaret cracks, standing unchained briefly for a plea. Fine, I did it. To save the name from her taint. Admission thunders. Courtroom freezing. Judge's voice. Guilty on all counts. Margaret slumps, chains clinking. Final. Eleanor exhales, shoulders sagging but spirit soaring. Alexander nods. 1. The expose complete, truth blazing. Courtroom doors swing open to flashing cameras. The weight of betrayal lifted, paving the way for resolution. You'll rot for this. Your tainted hands finally caught. Eleanor Hayes' voice slices through the courtroom aftermath, her finger jabbing at Margaret Harrington as bailiffs drag her away, chains clanking against the floor. Margaret's face a mask of twisted fury. Margaret lunges back, nails scraping air. Bastard! You stole everything! Eleanor's fists clench, knuckles cracking, but she holds ground, breath exploding out. Stole? You murdered! The judge's gavel thunders a final. Life! No parole! Gallery erupts, flashes popping, reporters shoving mics. Margaret's scream pierces. Appeals! I'll fight! Bailiffs yank harder, her heels scraping wood. Alexander Harrington stands beside Eleanor, hand gripping her shoulder tight. It's done. She shrugs off, eyes locked on Margaret. Not yet. Confiscate her assets. Prosecutor nods, papers slapping the table. Trust frozen, redirected to estate. Margaret thrashes. Mine! Cops haul her through the doors, her curses echoing down the hall. Eleanor's chest heaves, teeth grinding, the weight of years lifting like chains snapped. For Edward. Alexander's voice is low. And you. They exit, cameras swarming. Ms. Hayes? Justice? She faces them, chin high. Overdue. Reporters press. Inheritance? She cuts. His wish. Alexander shields her, shoving through the crowd. No comment. In the car, James Carter dials. Seize her accounts, now. Bank confirms. Done. Millions recovered. Back at the penthouse, boxes of evidence sealed, Eleanor pores over ledgers, finger tracing reclaimed funds. Charity fraud? Dissolved. Alexander nods. Victims compensated. Phone rings. Lab tech. Meds match. Overdose proven. Eleanor's rage simmers, but satisfaction surges, her spine straightening. Nail her accomplices. James arrives, warrants in hand. Lawyer arrested. Hitman too. Eleanor's eyes flash. Interrogate. Footage rolls later. Lawyer cracking under lights. She ordered the elevator sabotage. Eleanor's fists pound the table. Link it. Prosecutor builds case, charges stacking. Conspiracy, attempted murder. Margaret's appeals file, but the judge denies, gavel final. Evidence overwhelming. Eleanor testifies again, voice steel. She erased my life. Pay. Jury nods, verdict sealed. Assets transfer. Company shares to Eleanor. Trusts unlocked. She signs, pen-scratching victory. His legacy, mine. Alexander watches, regret etched. Ours. But she cuts. Earn it. Media blasts. Heiress exposed. Justice served. Eleanor fields calls, donors pulling from Margaret's fake funds. Redirect to real causes. Communities cheer. Her center is funded overnight. Prison gates clang shut on Margaret, her glare through bars. You'll regret. The guard shoves her in. Eleanor visits once, glass between. Why? Margaret hisses. Power. Eleanor's lips press thin. Lost. She walks away, chains echoing fade. Loose ends tied. Forgeries voided, will upheld. Eleanor's name clears, headlines shift. True heir triumphs. She stands at Edward's grave, hand on stone. Rest now. Wind whispers, but peace settles, her heart steady. The knots unravel, every betrayal resolved, paving rebirth. You think money erases blood? Your filthy hands can't buy absolution. Eleanor Hayes' roar cuts through the penthouse air, her fist slamming Alexander Harrington's check onto the table, ink smearing as she glares, veins throbbing in her neck. Alexander recoils, check fluttering, his face flushing crimson. It's not buy-off, It's start. Eleanor advances, finger jabbing his chest. Start? You ignored him. Let her kill. He grabs her wrist, gripping it tightly. I failed. Now fix. She yanks free, breath exploding. Fix? With cash? Alexander's jaw locks, teeth grinding. More? Foundation? For communities. Your name on it. Eleanor's eyes narrow, fists balling. My name? Yours tainted. He paces, papers thrusting forward. Edward Harrington Fund. Scholarships for Brooklyn kids. Like you once. Eleanor snatches documents, pages flipping fast. Millions, redirected from her fraud. Her breath catches, fingers tracing lines. Chess programs? Reading centers? Alexander nods sharply. Your world expanded. She slams papers down. Why? He stops, voice raw. Guilt, mine, and promise, to him. Eleanor's chest tightens, memory surging. Edward's weak smile at the chessboard, her moves for him. Prove it. Public launch. He agrees. Tomorrow, press conference. Dawn hits, they stand at the community center. Podium gleaming, crowd swelling. Kids, parents, media. Eleanor grips the mic first, voice steel. This fund honors care, not blood. Alexander steps up. I failed my father. Abandoned him. Now redeem. Cameras flash, his confession raw. Millions for education, jobs, starting here. Eleanor watches, arms crossed but nods slightly. Co-chair, with me. He extends his hand. Partners. She shakes firmly, grip crushing. The crowd cheers, but she whispers. Earn daily. Fund launches. Checks cut. New library wing. Tech labs. Eleanor oversees, hammer in hand, at the groundbreaking, dirt flying. For the overlooked. Alexander joins, sleeves rolled, shovel biting earth. Like I overlooked you. She shoves him playfully. Dig deeper. Weeks blur, programs roll. Chess tournaments, reading nights. Kids swarm Eleanor. Teach us. She sets boards, pieces clacking. Night strikes quietly. Alexander watches, joining awkwardly. Pawn forward. A boy wins, fist pumping. Thanks, Mr. H. Alexander's eyes glisten, but he blinks hard. Call me Alex. Corporate shift. Alexander in the boardroom, voice booming. Policy change, diversity hires, anti-bias training. Suits murmur. Radical, he cuts. Necessary, or resign. Resignations fly, but new faces fill, from Brooklyn centers. Eleanor attends a meeting, seated at the table. Fun ties, internships here. Board nods, stamps approving. Implemented. She stands. Real change, not words. Personal mends. Alexander visits the grave with Eleanor, flowers thudding stone. Sorry, Dad, for the absence. Eleanor kneels. He forgives if you act. He nods, a stone hand. I will. They walk, her arm linking his brief. Family now? He squeezes. Building. Fund grows, donations pour. Old partners contribute. Inspired. Eleanor Fields calls. Expand. Nationwide. Alexander signs expansions. Chapters in every city. Challenges hit. Backlash articles. Hypocrite air. Eleanor counters the press. Actions speak. Alexander joins the interviews. I was blind, now see. Ratings soar, support surges, community events. Eleanor reads to crowds, book in hand. Old man fought. Like us. Alexander donates personal yacht proceeds. For housing. She approves. Bold. Kids benefit, scholarships awarded, tears flowing. One girl hugs Eleanor. College, thanks to you. Her heart swells, embrace tight. Earn it, pass on. Months pass, fund thrives. Eleanor at helm, Alexander supporting. He proposes a merger, the company ethics board. You lead, she accepts. Together. Redemption scales, his actions vast, healing wounds. At the gala, Eleanor toasts. From ashes, hope. Alexander clinks glass. For Edward, cheers rise, future bright, their bond forged in fire. You dare call this family, your blood's poison runs too deep. Eleanor Hayes' accusation blasts across the gala hall. her glass shattering on the marble floor as she confronts a lingering Harrington cousin, shards flying like accusations, the crowd freezing mid-cheer. Alexander Harrington steps in, arm barring the cousin. "Back off, she's right." The cousin sneers, fist clenching. "She's no Harrington." Eleanor's jaw locks, teeth grinding fire, but she straightens, voice cutting. "Harrington, by heart, not vain." Alexander shoves the cousin toward the exit. "Out, before security." Bailiffs drag him, curses fading. Eleanor exhales sharply, turning to Alexander. "Old wounds." He nods, hand on her back. "Heal them, together." The gala pulses on, lights gleaming off new fun plaques. Edward Harrington, Center for Opportunity. Eleanor grips the podium, voice resonant. "From betrayal, birth. This honors care, not cash." Applause thunders, donors pledging more. Alexander joins her, mic in hand. "I lost a father, gained a sister." Their eyes meet, bond sealed. The crowd rises, cheers echoing. Eleanor whispers, "Mean it." He squeezes her hand. "Every word." Months forge ahead, the center thrives. Kids mastering chess, boards clacking in new halls. Eleanor teaches peace sliding. Queen takes, claim your power. A girl, eyes bright, mirrors. "Like you did?" Eleanor kneels, hand on shoulder. "Exactly," Alexander observes from the door, joining. "My turn, pawn advances." Laughter rings, kids swarming him. "Uncle Alex!" His chest swells, regret fading to joy. Lesson, family chosen. Corporate empire shifts. Alexander at helm, policies rewritten. Equal pay, now. Board resists. Costs. He slams the table. Or walk. Resignations pile. Diverse hires flood in. Eleanor co-chairs, voice firm. Interns from centers, train them. First-class graduates, caps tossed. A young man hugs her. Job offer, thanks. She beams, tears blinked away. Earn it, lift others. Personal threads weave. Eleanor at Edward's grave, Alexander beside, scattering ashes per will. Rest, Dad, legacy lives. Wind carries, peace settling. They walk arm in arm. Home now? She nods. Penthouse transforms. Library open to the public. Chess nights weekly. Neighbors join. Pieces moving. Your move, Eleanor challenges Alexander. He grins. Knight forks. Surprise. She counters swiftly. Checkmate. Plan. Community blooms. Fund expands. Chapters nationwide. Eleanor tours. Ribbon cut at new site. For the forgotten. Locals cheer, her story inspiring. Alexander funds anonymously at first, then publicly. My atonement. Media lauds. Redeemed heir. He waves off. Her lead. They co-host events, harmony building. A quiet dinner. Eleanor raises a glass. To us. He clinks. Family. Challenges test. Lawsuit remnant from Margaret's allies. Eleanor in court. Evidence thrusting. Dismiss. Judge agrees, gavel down. Alexander waits outside. Won again. She exhales. Our strength. Bond deepens, shared meals, laughs over old photos. Dad's smiling with you, he says, photo in hand. She traces it. With us now. Legacy endures. Scholarships bear Edward's name, recipients thriving. One returns, teaching at the center. Cycle continues. Eleanor nods. Lesson, give back. Alexander establishes policy. Company profits to fund. Permanent. The board votes yes. His vision is clear. No more greed. Final scene. Center garden. Eleanor on a bench. Book open. Reading to kids. Old man fought sea. Never quit. Alexander sits beside, listening. Sun sets. Warmth lingering. Kids disperse. She closes the book. Our story, he smiles. Vindication. She leans on him. And hope. Hand in hand, they watch the horizon. Future bright. The moral crystallizes. True family transcends blood, forged in loyalty and redemption. Betrayal crumbles under truth's weight, while care builds empires eternal. Care outlasts cash. Forgiveness mends fractures. Prejudice blinds. But justice illuminates. Eleanor's journey teaches, rise from shadows. Claim worth, extend hand. Alexander's arc warns, neglect poisons, but amends heal. Together they embody, legacy lives in actions, not inheritance. Honor the overlooked, for they hold the key to tomorrow. In the end, this story reminds us that true legacy isn't built on bloodlines or wealth alone. It's forged through genuine care, loyalty, and dignity, rewarding those who stand by us in our darkest hours over those who chase only fortune. What do you think? Was justice served, or is there more to inheritance and family? Share your thoughts or your own stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Thank you for watching and staying with us through this journey. See you in the next story.